That's our health lead collision with our pop culture lead. It's a celebration dedicated to saving some of the most precious lives, and one of the most meaningful events I attend every year, raising awareness and money for the fight to combat pediatric cancer and other child health challenges. It's called the Big Slick. It's a weekend in Kansas City to benefit Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. It started 15 years ago as a charity poker tournament by actors and comedians Rob Riggle and Jason Sudeikis. The team is now helmed as well by familiar faces Paul Rudd and Eric Stonestreet and David Koechner and Heidi Gardner from Saturday Night Live. There's a softball game at the Royals Kauffman Stadium.
It was touch and go there for a bit, but we're lucky enough to be out here doing this and celebrating this incredible weekend to raise money for this unbelievable hospital.
Paul talking about the rain there. Folks mingle and auction off experiences.
Once again, give it up for your Big Slick hometown hero.
One person offered a sizable donation to Children's Mercy if SNL alum and actor Will Forte dove into the hotel fountain and sang a verse from the famous James Ingram hit, Just Once.
Here we are back where we were before.
It was definitely worth it. There were real singers, of course, though, at the talent show on Saturday night. Among them, this year, Sheryl Crow. We also had a return of the famous 90s Saturday Night Live skit The Bears, featuring George Wendt and Jason Sudeikis, and Robert Smigel, who's also the voice of Triumph the Insult comic dog. And the Bears fans there on stage enjoyed the opportunity to grill a Kansas City Chiefs star, Travis Kelce.
Triumph. When are you gonna make an honest woman out of her? I mean, that's what we're talking. Look, Taylor doesn't need to be working anymore. And again, I know your kicker agrees with me.
For the record, no answer from Travis Kelce about Taylor Swift there. Beyond the glitz, of course, the most memorable moments of the weekend always come when we get to see the kids at Children's Mercy. And we get to meet their families who are enduring these horrible experiences that are made slightly better by the incredibly compassionate and knowledgeable staff, aided by cutting-edge technology at Children's Mercy. Here's the story of just one brave girl named Parker.
It was like a Wednesday, and she wasn't feeling very good. It progressed even further to Friday, and we got her into the doctor, and they sent us straight to the emergency room. And they found a large mass in her abdomen. That next Monday, she had the mass removed. That's when they asked if we were willing to do any of the research, if they could do any research on her tumors, follow her treatment for all that research studies. And of course we did, because both myself and Parker's dad have cancer history in our family. Anything we could do to help other kiddos in the future, maybe not have to go through what Parker went through. And being able to do that and have that funding, like, it was free for Parker. And after seeing the mass that was removed from her, I mean, some of them described it the size of a cantaloupe out of her little abdomen. So going from that to having a few small spots and now they're gone, stage 4, like, she beat it. Beat it, didn't you?
The Big Slick team this year raised a record-breaking $3.9 million this weekend, bringing the total 15-year haul to more than $25 million. But the very need for the altruism of the Big Slick underlines a very real problem, the imbalance in how much this nation invests in research to benefit children, as opposed to adults who, I get it, they have a lot more money and a lot more sway, and they have the ability to vote. Here to help us better understand the need and the disparity is Nancy Goodman, founder and executive director of kidsvcancer.org. It's an advocacy group calling for more government funding to fight pediatric cancer. And we're just going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going to the Big Slick and coming back, telling the story, and having you in until they take care of this insanity. Because let's talk about this. These kids are tremendous. They pull on anyone's heartstrings. Pediatric cancer accounts for 4%. 4% of the National Cancer Institute budget, less than 1% of the biopharma industry's research and development budgets, and in the last 30 years, the FDA has approved 200 adult cancer drugs compared to 6 for kids. Why and what can we do?
It's such a great question, and especially such a great question because we do care so much about kids. You know, there are as many children's cancers as there are adult cancers, Jake. And so really the National Cancer Institute should spend half their budget on children's cancers and half their budget on adult cancers, right? So I think part of it is culture. I think just having these conversations and talking about it really is going to matter. And we just have to increase the NCI's budget. You know, it's not where it needs to be. Where the money's in the private sector, in biopharmaceuticals. And so there, you know, we need Congress to pass some laws to, you know, require industry and incentivize industry to do more to study kids' cancers.
And they have done that in the past for other disparities, gender disparities, racial disparities.
They have.
So look, nobody wants anyone to pass away from cancer. But, I mean, do people not see that there's a difference between a 95-year-old dying of cancer and a 5-year-old dying of cancer?
Well, hopefully Congress, which Congress is considering a couple of bills now, and hopefully they will see that there's a difference. You know, you put a bill in front of Congress, it's really hard to get some traction when there are thousands of other bills in front of Congress. But I think we're doing a good job, and the pediatric cancer community, and hopefully it's going to work. But you know, these kind of fundraising events that you put on really, really matter. I mean, the fact is that most drug development for kids does not occur in industry, it occurs in hospitals.
Well, think about what these guys, Rudd, Stone Street, Sudeikis, and Riggle, and Heidi Gardner, and David Koechner, $25 million. That really could make a difference.
It could, and it makes a difference. And hospitals do an enormous amount of money with this, with what's raised locally. And if you look at the pediatric cancer drugs that have been developed recently, there are 6 in the last 30 years. They all started in hospitals, all of them.
Where do you find hope? What will advances like CRISPR, this is a new genetic tool, and immunotherapy, offer some hope to these kids?
You know, we're at a moment of, there's going to be a great leap forward in science, and new cancer drugs are going to cure people who now have terminal diseases, adults and children. So where I find hope, and what I hope is going to happen, is that kids are going to get access to these drugs too, and that there's going to be enough to fund researchers who are researching drugs for children. And so that's why what you're doing is so important.
And your website again for everybody at home? kidsvcancer.org. I knew it. I just wanted to do it at the same time.
Thank you.
Nancy, it's so great to see you. And I want to thank Nancy and all of those involved in the Big Slick and the fight to combat pediatric cancer and everyone at Children's Mercy, an incredible hospital. Thank you so much.